So apparently, Joe Mixon is trying to recruit T. Higgins over to the Houston Texans. And I'll be honest with you, it makes no damn sense. Now, listen, I understand, listen, T. Higgins, great receiver, right? Amazing receiver. Anyone would be lucky to have him. And I'm sure if he hit the open market, everyone and their mother would want T. Higgins, right? Just how it works. But right now, the Texans are sitting at a whopping negative $48,000 in the cap going into this year. Going into next year. This offseason. $48,000 negative. T. Higgins most likely will get a contract that's close to $100 million, right? He's that good. In what universe? This is one of those situations where I feel like it kind of comes down to not really logic. It just comes down to like, oh yeah, this would be so cool if this could happen, and I would love it if this guy went to my team or this guy went. Like, it just isn't even logical. That's number one. Number two, they got Stephon Diggs, who is on the contract year, so he'll probably end up, he could potentially leave, right? He might not be on the team next year. Nico Collins will be on the team next year. Tank Dell will be. But you know who might not be on the team? Their offensive line. Yeah, the thing that really sucks on the Texans and the reason why they lost or almost lost to the Chargers in the beginning of that game was their offensive line couldn't protect CJ Stroud. They need to invest money on that offensive line. If they want CJ Stroud to be great, they need to get that offensive line going. If they can make that offensive line a lot better and get it to a comparable state, then they're going to be a lot more successful than if they go out there and try to find a way to get T. Higgins. Again, T. Higgins, great receiver. I love T, and he's going to stay with us. He's not leaving us. So because of that, you're going to have to kind of work with what you got, but also work on fixing your offensive line. And I get it, Joe just wants to play with T because they're friends, they were teammates, they were bros for however long. Actually, yeah, I was going to say, I don't know about their college days if they played college together, but still, I understand, right? You want to play with your teammates again. That's why Tyler Boyd followed Brian and went to Tennessee because he wanted to still play with Brian. We also had our boy Cheeto go to Tennessee as well. So it makes sense. But at the same time, it just doesn't logistically make sense. And again, the Texans are a really good squad. And I don't even want to imagine how good they would be in the AFC if you gave them a competent offensive line. CJ Stroud might be top 5 quarterback if he had a competent offensive line and they could actually protect him. It's kind of like the Joe Burrow situation. Nico Collins is a wide receiver 1. Tank Dell, wide receiver 1. You got 2 wide receiver 1s. Lose Stephon Diggs, not really that big of a deal. Xavier Hutchinson has actually looked pretty good. John Menchie did have a fumble in the Chargers game, but he looks pretty good. Could also draft somebody. But you need to work on that offensive line. So, Laramie Tunzel, one of the best in the game. He's fine. You got the left tackle. The rest of them, obviously injuries also does not help. And whenever you get injuries on the offensive line, that also kind of sways how your game is going to be played. But you just need to figure something out. You just need to figure something out on the offensive line. So if I was them, I would, number one, you're going to lose a crap ton of players because of that negative cap hit. So let's see. Who else is? They have Devin White. So these are all their, okay. Does not. There we go. Devin White, Robert Woods, Eric Murray, Derek Barnett, Irv Smith. Yeah, keep forgetting they had Irv Smith. They have a lot of free agents. They have a crap ton of free agents. They're going to lose a lot of pieces. So they're not in a rebuild, but they're going to have to probably rework a lot of these contracts, get these contracts to be a lot less money, and they're going to have to absolutely grand slam sandwich on this upcoming draft because they're not in the perfect scenario right now to be successful. Holy moly, do they have a lot of free agents and no money. Yeah, I think T. Higgins might be the single last thing on DeMeco Ryans' mind right now. When it comes to players he might go after, want to pick up, or just add to the squad, T. Higgins might be the last. Wide receiver in general is the last one he's thinking about even touching, sniffing, or going after. There's going to be a lot of changes. This team... It's funny how most teams, when you look at it, like the turnover rate every single year, how much does the team look like they did last year compared to this year, right? Usually, for the most part, there's not too many like teams that are like above 40-50%. Usually 30% is the average. Like, you go into the next year, 30% of your team might look different. So at least 70% of your team is pretty much the same. For mostly the same. Texans might be in that 40 to 60 range, meaning like 40% of their team is going to be different. Probably 45%. Depends on how they can rework some of these contracts, but holy moly. Peace out, guys.